Hi, this is Neil Breen. It's June 22nd, 2016, and I really wanted to come out and just update everyone on the status of Pass-Through, my new feature film, as well as answer any miscellaneous questions that you all have emailed to me. Just wanted to ramble on about how I made the film, the history of the film, logistics, so on and so on, storyline and so on. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone out there for the support of Fateful Findings, my fourth feature film, fourth theatrical feature that I self-funded, wrote, produced, directed, and acted in. The ratings on the major sites, for lack of a better term, are excellent, and the sales are terrific. So I wanted to thank everyone for that. That film I made in 2014, and it came out in theaters and subsequently on DVD and so on. Pass-Through is my fourth theatrical feature film. I shot it in 2015 in 22 days of principal photography. I started shooting in June of 2015 and was scheduled to finish principal photography as well as the editing by the end of September of 2015, and that's what I did. The film was shot in southern Nevada, not Las Vegas. It was shot on private property that I rented, and I also took out $1 million liability insurance policies for, per the owner's request. Once again, I self-funded, wrote, produced, directed, and acted in it. I wanted it to go in a much different direction, visually and storyline, than my prior three films. And I think I've achieved that. Like I said, I completed it in the very beginning of October, the end of September of 2015. When I scouted the locations for, and I'll be rambling, I'll be jumping all over as I go through my little discussion here. When I scouted the locations, I wanted things that were very interesting cinemagraphically, and as the cinematographer and the DP, I wanted things that were visually interesting as well as supported the story that I was trying to tell. Pass-Through is not a sequel to any of the prior films. It does not have any common denominator to the prior films. It's kind of a standalone films. As many of you know, my stories are very magical, mystical, tied into real world scenarios. They're filled with metaphor and symbolism, and Pass-Through is no different than that. Pass-Through was released in theaters in April, the end of April 2016, in the United States and Canada. It is progressively increasing in theatrical release from April 2016 on. It is probably in about 10 or 11 new cities every month through May. We're now into June. It's booked for July and August. I will let it play in theaters through probably October, November in the United States and Canada. I will then create, because many of you have asked, I will then create a website to sell the DVD for Pass-Through domestically in the United States. I will create the website in December to start taking orders in December. I will start shipping Pass-Through in January of 2017. For all my international market, I will create another website to sell Pass-Through internationally, all over the world. I will create that website in December to start taking orders, to start shipping internationally in January of 2017. The difference is that the cost of shipping internationally is much higher than shipping domestically in the United States. The cost of postage is higher, I've got to go through customs, et cetera, et cetera. So it just out of necessity, the price structure, it's more expensive to buy the DVD internationally, therefore, than it is to buy it domestically in the United States. Back to the film. So selecting all of the exterior locations, I knew what time of the year I wanted to shoot it. I wanted to shoot in the spring and summer because in southern Nevada, the weather was warm enough, the conditions were constant enough that I could rely on the weather helping me from a continuity point of view. Also, when I was searching out the locations, it took me a while to find really interesting things that created the contrast, interesting locations that created the contrast between my storyline of this AI intelligence from thousands of years into the future and very primitive kind of down and dirty locations that I foresaw when I wrote the script. So I found private property in southern Nevada. Like I said, I rented the private property from the owners. I had to take out $1 million liability insurance, naming the owners in case anything happened. So everything I do is very professional. The cast, I had 40 speaking roles on the cast of Thru. Every one of those cast members, as well as crew, were paid. I don't ask anybody to do anything for nothing. Nobody works for free. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I consider myself a true indie filmmaker. So some of you have already seen the film in theaters, thank you very much, and some of you will see it shortly in theaters. The film is very interesting in that, once again, I tried to visually create a contrast between superior artificial intelligence from 1,000 years and then into the future relative to what's going on in today's Earth. The locations, I think, support that, and I tried to play that contrast off against each other. As far as what's going on in the film, to answer some questions, the tiger symbolizes something. The tiger is a metaphor for something in the film. The tiger is a living, breathing tiger. The red dot in the sky is a metaphor or a symbol for something. The 3 clocks in the desert are a metaphor or symbol for something. The fact that AI is relatively a homeless person who sleeps in the dirt with dirt all over his face and his shirt and so on is a symbol or a metaphor for something. The scene in the newsroom, the worldwide newsroom, is pretty self-explanatory. There are many other metaphors and symbols throughout the film. Some are very small and some kind of bang you over the head. As far as cameras go, to answer some of your questions, we used a Sony 4K and a Panasonic 2K. As far as editing goes, we use Premiere Pro, Fusion 7, and After Effects. I think I mentioned earlier, it took 22 days of principal photography. Between John and I, we spent cumulatively about 300 hours editing the film. That editing process was very standard. I began by myself going through all the hundreds of hours, I'm exaggerating, of raw footage. I selected everything that I wanted to use. I then put that in order and then brought everything to John. John and I sat down elbow to elbow for the next hours, and we edited the film. Music I did. What else? The special effects came out terrific, whether they were explosions or some of the green screen work we did. The aerial photography was all done by us. None of it is stock footage. We used a DJI 650 modified drone. Chris Sanudo was the aerial photographer, and he and I shot that by ourselves. Let's see. As far as the casting goes, like I said, there was 42 speaking roles. I had made the commitment to having a diverse cast, and I think that's reflected in the storyline as well as the cast of characters. I was real pleased with the way everybody performed. Like any script or any filmmaker goes through, there were scenes that I wrote in the script that I wasn't able to do, and there were scenes and opportunities that turned up during the course of shooting which were not in the script, but I said, God, this is the right way to do this. Let's take advantage of this right now, so we did that. All of my films have a very positive, constructive, uplifting theme to them, although they may deal with immigration and all of the problems we have in life. I really go out of my way to kind of make them, without being judgmental, very thought-provoking. I don't pretend to give answers. I just want them to be thought-provoking and have the audience be entertained as well as think about them. What else? Like I said, pass-throughs in theaters now doing very, very well. Some of the theaters are selling out. It just sold out in LA. The audiences cheer during the film, which is exactly what I want. It's an audience participation film. At the end of the film in theaters, if the audience just stand up and give these amazing standing ovations. So I'm very, very flattered and glad to see that it's being so well received. I have the concept for my 5th theatrical feature film, which I hope to do in 2017. The content is different. The look of the film will be different. Every film I do, I try to do something a little bit different, a little bit more edgy, a little bit more interesting, unique. After all, we are filmmakers. We don't do the normal, boring, stereotypical, cliche storytelling. We do want to do something unique, interesting, thought-provoking, and exciting, and entertaining at the same time. So that 5th feature film, yet untitled, I do have the concept for it, I do have the look for it, and I'll be proceeding, once again, self-funding, writing, producing, and directing that in 2017. The interesting thing that all 4 of my feature films now have been non-union. The only reason they're non-union, other than it being part of my learning process, is that I don't belong to a union. Not by choice, it's just sort of the way it is. The interesting thing is I've personally been approached by A and B, high B-list actors who want to be in my films because they enjoy them, they're impressed, they love the messages, and so on and so on. But unfortunately, me not being in the union and they being in the union, I'm not able to use them. So I'm trying to work through all that now. I have never had a manager. I have never had an agent. I have never had an attorney work with me. I welcome a manager, a theatrical manager, a theatrical agent, and I've done all the contracts on my own in the past, but I welcome any attorney support. So if you know of a manager, agent, or attorney who are interested in working with me, I'm happy to do that. That's sort of about it for right now. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date, thanking everyone for the success of Pass-Thru and what's upcoming relative to the availability of Pass-Thru, both in theaters and on DVD coming in January in 2017. I rely almost totally on social media. I have a Facebook page, which is Neil Breen. I have a Facebook page for the film Pass-Thru, which is Pass-Thru Film. I have the website for the film, which is www.pass-thru-film.com. I'm on Twitter at Neil Breen. I'm on Twitter at Pass-Thru Film. I think I have like 40,000 followers. That is how I inform the audiences, make them aware of future screenings, future YouTube postings, and so on and so on. So that is, those 4 or 5 sites are how I relate to my audiences, fans, and followers. So once again, thanks very much. I really appreciate all the support. It's been fantastic. The reviews have been great. Anyway, it goes on and on. I will do these YouTube updates more frequently. Anything that you see online or on YouTube prior to today, June 22nd, 2016, is really old information, and even though it's undated. So thanks again. I'll talk to you and I'll see you real soon.